If you are over that income bracket that you're allowed to contribute to a Roth IRA, but you still want to make a Roth IRA account and have that tax benefit of it, then you set up. What's up, you guys? My name is Michael Tandarich and welcome to my YouTube video. And today we are going to talk about backdoor Roth IRAs. Before we get started with the video, I also want to say I am not a financial advisor. I am just literally a dude sitting in his garage with a cool camera setup and a Camaro in the background with some dirt bikes. I am not a financial advisor. If you want financial advice, please seek out advice from a professional financial advisor. I have to say, the backdoor Roth IRA, like the name of it, it just sounds super sketch. It just sounds like someone's coming in through your back door, super sketch. It feels like you're doing something super sketchy by doing it. I wish they would just come up with a different name for it. Like conversion into a Roth IRA, or even like loophole Roth IRA. I don't know. Just backdoor Roth IRA just sounds wrong. But either way, I had to go and do a backdoor Roth IRA for myself recently, and there weren't too many videos out there fully explaining it, so I wanted to make one for you guys that fully explains what a backdoor Roth IRA is. Okay, before I get started on all that stuff though, I first want to kind of give an explanation of what an IRA account is. So I have my kid's sandy bucket here from the beach to use as an illustration. Basically, this can be seen as a traditional or a Roth IRA account. You're not investing in anything, you're not really doing anything with it, it's just, here's your account, it's the bucket. And then once you set up your account, you can take stocks, index funds, ETFs, any of those kind of stuff, bonds, and put them into your Roth IRA or your traditional IRA account. So the point is an IRA account is a bucket that holds your stocks and bonds and ETFs and all that stuff. And the bucket determines, depending on which account you have, determines how you are taxed at the end of all of it. A Roth IRA or a traditional account is just a bucket. Think of it as a bucket and you're putting stocks and stuff into it. I don't know, maybe that helps, maybe it doesn't. I know it helped me. I'm more of a visual, like creative type person, so I know the bucket illustration really helped me understand what an IRA account even is. All right, so before we go into what a backdoor Roth IRA is, we first have to understand what a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA accounts are. Now, these accounts are retirement accounts. So that means that basically you can't access the money in there without penalties until you're about 59 and a half. And by about, I mean you have to be 59 and a half to be able to access what you've put into there without penalties. But looking at the traditional IRA account, basically you get taxed at the end, so at 59 and a half when you start taking your money out. So what that means is all the money that you put in from the time that you open your account till 59 and a half is completely tax-free, and actually you get tax deductions on it when you go and put that money into your traditional IRA account. However, at 59 and a half, when you start making withdrawals from that account, you will get taxed at the federal income tax bracket that you are at that age. But if you leave it in until you're 72, you have to take a minimum amount out of your traditional IRA account. And chances are, if you're like in your 20s right now or in your 30s, there's a good chance that you will be making more money and will be in a higher income tax bracket at 59 and a half than you are right now. Now, with a traditional IRA account, you can put in up to $6,000 every single year. And then once you hit 50, you can put $7,000 in every single year. And there's no income limit. So what that means is you could be making $100,000, $50,000, $200,000, $1 million, and you can still always contribute to your traditional IRA account. But the big key here is, and make a note of this, you will get taxed at the end when you start to make your withdrawals from the account with your traditional IRA. Now, with a Roth IRA, it's basically the same thing, however, you get taxed at the beginning. So whatever money you put into your account, it gets taxed at that moment. However, at the end, at 59 and a half, you won't get taxed at that federal income tax bracket. There's no more taxes at that point, you're done. So why I personally like this is in my 20s, I'm obviously expecting to be at a lower income tax bracket than I am at 59 and a half. At 59 and a half, I really hope I'm making a hell of a lot more than I am right now, or I'm gonna be really disappointed. But just like with a traditional IRA, in a Roth IRA account, you can put up to $6,000 up until you're about 50, and then you can put $7,000 in every single year. However, because you're already getting taxed on the money that you're putting into this account already, it's not tax deductible. Now, here's the catch with the Roth IRA accounts. There are income limits. So unlike the traditional IRA account where there's no income limits and you can make whatever amount of money and then put that $6,000 in, with a Roth IRA account, there are income limits. So if you're married and filing jointly, $196,000 is the limit to be able to put money into your Roth IRA account. However, it goes all the way up to $206,000, but between 196 to 206, it starts to go down with what you can contribute into your Roth IRA account. If you're single or married and filing separately, you can contribute that $6,000 up until your income of $124,000. And then again, it has that same thing from $124,000 to $139,000, where it slowly starts to go down of what you can contribute into your Roth IRA account. So basically, the really big things is this. With a traditional IRA account, you don't get taxed until the end. And with a Roth IRA account, you get taxed at the beginning, but at the end, you can just withdraw your money and not get taxed at all. However, with the Roth IRA account, you have income limits. And this is where the backdoor Roth IRA comes into play. Basically, if you want the benefits of the Roth IRA, but if your income is higher than what you're allowed to be at in order to contribute to your Roth IRA, this is where the backdoor Roth IRA comes into play. Basically, what you can do is you can set up a traditional IRA account, and then you can set up a Roth IRA account, and you can contribute that $6,000 into your traditional IRA account. And then you can transfer that $6,000 over to your Roth IRA account. And that in itself is literally the backdoor Roth IRA and how it's done. And like I said, the big benefit of it is if you are over that income bracket that you're allowed to contribute to a Roth IRA, but you still wanna make a Roth IRA account and have that tax benefit of it, then you set up a backdoor Roth IRA, and it's completely legal with the government. Like I said at the beginning, it makes no sense whatsoever. Using the word backdoor and something like Roth IRA just does not seem right. Like, it seems like totally scammy, but it's completely legal with the government, and it's a backdoor way to get your Roth IRA account set up if your income is over, married filing jointly, $194,000. So I personally use Fidelity to set up my backdoor Roth IRA. It was super simple. I'll make an entire video soon about exact steps of how to go about doing it. And in that video, you'll be able to see the exact things that I click, the exact accounts that I open. It takes a couple days to process it all, but at the end of it, you'll have your backdoor Roth IRA account set up. So I hope that provides a little bit more explanation on what a backdoor Roth IRA is and gives you the rough steps to set it up. Like I said, I would do it with Fidelity. That's the company that I set it up with. And if you have any questions at all, definitely leave a comment below and I'll make sure to answer it back. And if you got any value out of this, make sure to like it. And lastly, if you want to see that next video of me setting up the backdoor Roth IRA account through Fidelity, make sure to subscribe so you get notified when that comes up. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video, and I'll see you in the next one.